Okay, so at this point, we're just going to continue the colors for the My Nature pouch. Remember using that limited palette. Make sure your numbers are right. I'm noticing I think a couple of my numbers are one number off, and so that was a little bit confusing, but start with that limited palette. Ignore this yellow I have in the background. I'm going to talk more about that later, but we're just going to finish up adding the color everywhere in here for now. Remember, you can use both sides of the marker. So for tiny areas, you could use that smaller one, but don't fill in big areas with the small one because you don't want to kind of harm that the tip of it. You can come in here with the larger one. You can use like the point of it. You can also use the side of it. Actually, I might switch to the other lighter pink to color it. Use this green and kind of blend it in with this pinky color and just see how it goes. Obviously they don't blend perfectly because they make kind of a brownish, but I can clean my marker off a little and do it again here. I'm doing my best to like keep my fist from smearing the page too, so that's kind of important. So just be aware of where your hand is so you don't get those smears everywhere, because it can look kind of dirty if you do. Mine has some areas that are kind of dirty looking, but I'm hoping that the marker will come over it and kind of give them a cleaner look. So I'm just being mindful of where my marker goes and how. I came outside my lines a little bit here, so I might just add a little more green to that. Kind of blend this pencil in with the green so I lose that line. These are kind of small enough areas that I can just use the little end to color them in, because if I use the big one it might get sloppy. Use a little bit of pink on the outside of this one too. Just play with my line weight a little. Make some areas thicker and some thinner. Just giving it kind of a detailed outline. Green isn't really right here. It is right here, but so I'm going to have that for one of the sides of the prism here. The one that goes through this sort of lime green. You can see how it goes through there. And then I'll have on maybe this side too. If you're about to go onto the table, please just bring a piece of paper underneath it, because these are tricky to get off the table. And I'm stepping back every once in a while and just saying, like, what else do I need? What else do I not need? This pink is really overpowering. It's very strong. So I think I'm going to make this star. I was thinking I was going to make it pinks, but I think I'm going to make it the same as that one, just to feel balanced. One direction with these markers does work a little bit better for the markers if you can. That isn't easy to do, but because going back and forth can beat the tip of it up a little bit more, so just be mindful of not harming the tip too much. You can see mine's already starting to fray a little, but just be as mindful as you can of that. You know, you want to try your best to preserve the markers, because like I said, they are expensive markers. They're specifically bought for this project this year, but you know, we can keep them nice longer. We can use them for other things too. And at that point, I filled everything in. So I want to just check, do I need anything else? I actually feel like I could use something down here. So I might pull my sketches out again and just see if there's anything I can add in there. I can't really erase on here, so if you want, you could add it on your other piece of paper and then trace it in, which wouldn't be a bad idea. For the sake of time, I'm just going to draw it right in on here. But I'm going to go so lightly, and I'm going to bring a leaf like this coming kind of right off the edge here, and again so lightly with my pencil. And I'll color this and then see how I feel. So I think I might actually make it a pink leaf. I'm going to bring my pink color in, and I think I'll use one of these greens to do the in-between parts. Quickly go around the outside of it too before I color it in, just so I know kind of where my bumpers are. It's tough because this wider tip is tough to control in small areas, so just be really, really mindful. You've got to kind of focus on what you're doing and not be multitasking too much here, because you can lose your design if you're doing that, you know. I'm going to just flip through my sketches again and see if anything comes out for me that would work there. I actually kind of like these tentacles. They remind me of something I saw in the Yelena James images too, so I might just have some kind of tentacles coming in here, and they could kind of go under this guy. There might be one that comes down, again very lightly. I'm being mindful of that, and kind of moves this way, and then maybe one coming up like this. I like the idea of them being striped, because I actually feel like I saw that in hers too. So I can sketch in some stripes here too. Just real lightly, because I don't want to overpower this with graphite. I'm pressing so lightly with my pencil right now, because I've learned my lesson, making it really dark and then having it kind of bleed in certain areas. And then I'm going to alternate. I'm going to do every other one this lighter pink color, so I'll go in with that first. And again, in the small areas, or you know, you could even outline it with the tip, with the smaller tip, but then flip it to the other side and use the wider one to kind of shade it in. Pretty well balanced. Let me just bring that back up. That's pretty well balanced, so I'm going to stop here and we'll talk about background next time.